Taking a deep breath. I'm going to do a normal introduction like a normal person. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Clown World Cousins. Cocktails with Cousins. That's what we should call it. I'm Faye, and we're going to talk with my first cousin, Mary. We have absolutely nothing planned. We'll probably, talk about riveting subjects. I think we're going to talk about animals acting crazy, and we're going to talk about what we're watching on TV and animal prints. God only knows where this is going to take us. Who knows? How are you, Mary?
I'm great. I was wearing something totally different, but when I saw Faye's sweater, I had to go run and get mine. I was like, let's be very MK Ultra. Why not?
Why not?
Why do they get to have the pattern? It's so cute.
It's so cute. Animal prints are another neutral, they say. So, and like, when can you wear it besides fall? So,
right.
I have the poofy sleeves on mine. One thing I noticed at the nail salon today, because they have the news on, is the fakest smiles in the world, these people, these newscasters, I don't know how they do their job. I mean, I guess because they get paid a lot of money to do it. But I noticed the women were wearing very feminine dresses, and I liked that, like really like flowy, and not that I do my fashions by what they're doing, but they looked cute. I'll give them that. Young love, my robe. Young love. I love it.
Why not?
All you ladies, Young Love's MK too. That's not a funny joke. Like, because you know what? It's not funny because we've all been MK'd at this point many times.
Right. That's something that you were saying to me earlier in the week, is how, everybody's under some sort of a mind control spell. And I don't know, I was going to ask you about that. So do you want to repeat what you were saying to me?
Well, you know what I always say, I've said it for years, is that everyone has PTSD. Everyone has PTSD, and most of us have multiple personalities. I probably do too. I think your mom said it best. She's like, yeah, Faye, I mean, what are you talking about? I have a personality with the people I work with. I have a personality with my children. I have a personality with my friends. And I'm like, yeah, I guess we're all kind of guilty of that. I don't think that I do, but I guess I do. Because I work, it surprisingly, as like honest as I'm, like, the truth just comes out of me. I'm pretty good at customer service most of the time. Like, sometimes people will say things and I'm just like, what the hell are you talking about? But most of the time I'm surprisingly, like, really like, how can I help you? What do you need? So that's another personality. But no, we've all been I mean, what am I telling you something you don't know, Mary? It's all mind control. You know that.
Well, the reason why I thought it was interesting, and yes, I have a blanket on my lap because it's seriously like 55 degrees here. My window's open, but I'm such an old lady. I wish it was an Afghan.
Today. What?
I know it's chilly, but a lot of the time I feel like maybe not you, but I've been guilty of this myself, kind of acting like all of those people are under mind control, but I'm immune, you know what I mean? And I don't know if anybody else happens to fall into that like mindset, but when you were talking about it, like when you were saying it, I was listening, and then when we hung up, I was like, yeah, it's so true. And it's kind of upsetting to think like, yeah, I guess they got to all of us in some way, shape, or form. Some of us deal better, I think, than others.
A real mild one that I have, and I'm sure that I don't know how, and Ask Joe, like, if people start clapping, like I'm like, and I don't even know what I'm clapping for. If people start clapping, I automatically, like, I just start clapping, and that's kind of a mild little mind control thing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I've seen one where they did this like experiment that if somebody's handing you something, no matter what it is, you'll take it. And I don't know if that like ties into like politeness or, just our conditioning, but like somebody could literally hand you a piece of trash and you'll like take it and then like look at it and be like, what? But just our first inclination is to oh, take it. Thank you. You know?
One of my favorite videos of during the whole C bomb we've been going through for the last 2.5. Are we on 3 years yet? No, I guess we're still on about 2.5. But it was some black kid, and he was like, he had like, I think he just had like on a regular vest that just happened to be like yellow or something, and people were walking into the building, and he was making them go like this, and he was lint brushing them. Did you see that? And everyone that was going into the building was like this, and he was like lint brushing them. It was hilarious.
That is so funny. My sister, you know those like they'll do also these other experiments. Well, they'll put a wallet on the ground and see how many people notice it, and then they'll literally draw like an orange circle around the wallet, like all this stuff to try to draw attention to it. But my sister literally is the type of person, will be driving and she'll be like, hold on, I have to turn around. There was a wallet on the ground back there. And she'll go get the wallet. Like she like just.
Well, she finds I forget what you guys called it, but she's one of these people that has the ability to find gold and stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Apparently she can sniff out other people's credit cards.
But
only for the power of good. You know?
Of course. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's just amazing how we are. I mean, after everything we witnessed in the last 2.5 years, and just you know, and you're right. Like, and I do sometimes like put myself outside of it, like these freaking zombies, you know. But oh God, we're all guilty. In certain, I don't know. I was listening to Wayne McCroy on Alchemical Tech Revolution. He's really good. And he was just talking about like divine creation myths or something, but he was talking about mind control, and he talked about something I don't hear a lot of people mention when they talk about this is mind control starts with flattery. Like, oh, you're too smart. No one could fool you. You have a college degree. Like the whole education system is just all about flattery, like, and puffing people up to think like no one's gonna fool me. I think that I was probably like that. I probably still am in many ways, and you know, God has to be humble. You know, like I said to you, my texting app wasn't working. We were talking about the draft, as we do. We have sons that are and daughters at this point, so you know the draft comes up, and so I was like, well, my son's going to be a conscientious objector, and you were like, well, they're still going to have him. Where was I going with this? So even if you're a conscientious objector, the government's got it all set up that FEMA's got a program for you. I don't know where I was going with this. What were we talking about? I'm sorry. My mind, guys, it's bad. Oh, I was talking about flattery. I'm sorry, Mary. I'm the worst co-host ever.
No, you're the host. I told you, you're running this crap. I'm in a bad mood, guys. So I was hoping that
Why don't you vent? Do you want to vent about your bad mood, or is that off topic?
No, let's say hi to the chat real quick, and then we'll get back to how we're all. Well, hold on. Before we say hello to the chat, I really feel like the truth movement or truther movement, not the entire truth movement, but especially the truther movement, a number is being done on them as far as, you know, going down rabbit holes. And it's so easy. If you think about the way a rabbit hole is, you know, there's different like burrows and stuff that you can go down into. And some of them are traps, I'm convinced. And people will go down the wrong rabbit hole, and they'll start with like a good intention, but then they'll wind up like over here somewhere. And it's like, they get so in their head. But again, it's the whole pride thing. Like, I have this secret information that not everybody knows. And I'm telling you, I think it's definitely brought to you by the alphabet agencies in order to distract, deflect, and to, you know, just keep us in a constant state of confusion and arguing with one another. It's like, look at transhumanism. I'm just throwing one example out there. And all the people that think it's going in all these different directions, like you'll have like the Christians being like it's heading towards the mark of the beast. Then you'll have like the non-Christians being like, no, it's going to be like AI is going to take over and we're going to be able to upload our mind into the cloud. And then we're going to be trapped in the cloud for all eternity. It's like all these things. And I see even truthers arguing back and forth about what is going to happen with transhumanism instead of everybody just being like, listen, this is what's going on. This is what we know. And let's not argue, you know, but they love arguing.
I couldn't agree more. I just, we're not unified, and that's just the way they want it. What does Mr. Wheels have to
Hell
say?
on wheels. He says, I just want everyone to know how much I love the alphabet soup. It's great. Just in case no one knows how much we should love the alphabet.
Wonderful.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know where you were going with that, Faye. I'm sorry you lost that thought. I was hoping.
Totally did. I totally totally had to do with the draft and flattery, and I apologize. And
Oh, they're screwing themselves with this whole draft thing because I was thinking about it. And why do a lot of young men and women join the military during peacetime? What's one of the things?
The bennies, as we call them here in Massachusetts, the benefit.
And especially with young people, it's for what? A free, tuition, or they're going to help you with your college tuition. But now that the government is doing debt forgiveness for college tuition, people aren't going to be, it's more of a reason not to go into the military if everybody all of a sudden is going to be treated the same way, regardless of what you're doing. So good. I mean, shut it down. I shouldn't say that. My son so wants to go into the military, but
I thought that he was over that. He still is.
well, now that they're coming up with the draft and with everything going on with we're sitting on a pressure cooker as a world, and I think that right now I'm conflicted between, is it all a part of the Great Reset, or does the West have their version of the Great Reset and then the East has their version and they're like fighting over that? But regardless, now that he thinks we're going to war with Russia and China, he's back on board. He's like, I'm like, you're going to get drafted, and he'll start like saluting me and stuff. And I'm just like, bro, what can I do, Faye? I mean,
chills. I don't like. It's just so overwhelming. Just how in our face it's been, for a while. But like just that we're run by like satanic psychopath liars, and I'm not.
This is also an option. The other option is it's all an illusion. Mm-hmm. Definitely is. I mean, again, tonight we called it, what was it? The 3-ring circus, or the 3-ring bread and circus. It's like, where do we look, guys? Where in the circuit? It really is. Go ahead. Sorry.
I can't even. It's just and every day is different. Yesterday we had a really crazy storm up here in Massachusetts, and to the point that there was one thunderbolt or strike, whatever you would call it, that made me it made my heart jump. It made me feel like this genuine fear, into my core. And I wasn't right. I got home from work. I work really early in the morning. I got home and I kind of laid in bed, and I laid in bed for 3 hours. I don't even think I slept, but I just it was pouring out. My kids were at school. And then it was when I woke up, my daughter, we're very similar in a lot of ways. I knew it. Mom, I'm just not feeling today. I'm off. Can you come get me? And, it's 20. I'm like, yeah, I'll call them, because it's like, I don't care. Their grades are with these portals. I can see how they're doing in school. As long as you're not failing or getting in trouble, I'll pick you up. But then today, I guess there is something to that expression, under the weather. Today, the sun's shining. It's a crisp, cool fall day. And
Excuse
I
me.
was very productive and I was just feeling like for humanity, like everyone, like, oh, I love people and we're all different and we're gonna meet people where they are and we all come from different places. For some days it's like I hate these people. It's not so I mean that's multiple personality, or like Jose's just said, it's all an illusion, and every day it's just like
Yeah, we've
it's
got, I
all
mean,
day.
it's
Go ahead.
amazing all these. Okay, so Boston Ray, this isn't real life with 100 exclamation points. Then Frank says, hold on, I gotta make it bigger because my eyes aren't so good. It matters not in a way. It's all being used by the Most High to bring about prophecy and and ultimately our deliverance home. Then we got wheels over here. It's like, again, we have all these. So race, I think he's a dimension. He believes in like dimensional shifts and things like that. Is that what he meant by that?
I don't want to speak for Ray. Ray would I but
Yeah,
I don't want
I for
Ray, I don't
we
want to
talked
speak
about
I
it.
don't want to speak for him, but
Sure.
he's kind of more similar to you and me, and like with the whole I don't want to speak. I don't want to put words in people's mouths. It's not my place, but he agrees with me on my fundamentals. Like I don't go to Christian church, but I would call myself I don't want to speak for people, I got my
Yeah,
comfort thing.
sure. So how did he get sucked back into that so hard? I really think that ever since my now almost 18-year-old son was about 7 or 8, he's been in training for the US military in the form of video games. And
Mm.
um, I think that's why it's like from time to time I will get through to him, but then his training kicks in once again, and he's sitting there like, I don't know, how do you saluting me, and sir, yes, sir. I was like, what are you gonna
Which
do
makes
when
a triangle, by the way. The salute like makes a triangle. Oh, it's all so yucky.
triangle,
Like
isn't it?
the Medal of Honor is like the upside down pentagram, where it's so satanic. It's just so in my. It's like I don't. And this is I like said all along, like with this thing. I said, Mary, remember I said if they just came out on the news and said, listen, guys, you can have your normal back, but like we worship the devil. We're just going to come out and tell you, and you have to do this because it's a ritual. Most people would still do it. Like they're just so out in the open. It's just a matter of time. But I don't like it. I don't like it at all, and I see it everywhere. And it's very over. The inversion is overwhelming for me. For me, even the animals are acting crazy. Can we talk about that a little bit? I want to know if anyone else has seen that. We've already talked about animals acting crazy. The bird
Yeah.
landed on my neck. The bird landed on my neck. The chipmunk ran up your daughter and sat on her head.
Mm-hmm.
When I love birds, okay? I'm into birds. I swear to you guys, and I swear to you at my house, the same dove has been visiting me in the same spot for over 10 years, excuse me. So I love birds. But one thing I always noticed about birds is when it's raining or snowing or snowy, the birds aren't, there's no birds around. Like if it's raining hard, the birds aren't in the sky. Well, as I said yesterday, we had a huge storm. The rain was coming down, it was thunder, but as I'm laying in my bed for 3 hours because I just felt off, at the same time I hear like the birds chirping outside, and then when I'm driving home they're all on the wires together in the pouring rain. Is that a Mandela effect for me? Like, am I crazy, or did, like, when it was raining, especially raining really 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 hard, you didn't see birds like hanging out on wires chirping, like just like the birds were acting normal while there's this crazy storm going on? Am I
Right.
crazy? Like, do you know what I'm saying,
I
Mary?
don't. I already told you my thoughts on this. After the drought, maybe they all just needed a good bath and they were excited, because I did notice the robins were
They do like
absolutely everywhere.
they do
Um,
like their baths. That's cute.
we're run by reverse psychology, huh? Oh, Truth Stream Media mentioned that in passing, and it kind of makes sense. Reverse psychology. So they
Well, I
tell
would
us
go with
not to do
inversion.
something, and then we want to do it, because I feel like with the thing we just went through, people they didn't need reverse psychology. They just flat out told people what to do and everybody did it. You know, they started goose stepping around to the stupid whatever. Go ahead, Faye.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it was unbelievable.
Yeah, but I mean, reverse
I have
psychology.
to watch. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I thank you, Wheels. I need to. I'll. You reminded me. I'm like behind on my True Stream Media, and I do like them a lot. And there's a video that I forgot to watch. I'm behind on everybody.
Yeah,
We only have so many hours in the day, you know.
sure, sure. So I hope we're not having an argument over here on perspectives.
Who's arguing?
They're not arguing. It's not a Mandela effect. It's a sign of the times we're in. So I don't know what's going on. I'm sure everybody's cool.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. That's what it makes me to be. Whoever said that, that's kind of like what my gut tells me when I'm driving home and there's thunder and pouring rain, and all I want to do is get home, and the birds are acting completely normal. It's like, yo, birds. And then one landed on my neck. But I don't know. What a time to be alive, guys. Like, I'm having my wine right now, and then some of you guys are doing this sober. Like, my hat's off to you.
I hope you're not drunk. Crikey. You said who's arguing. I thought, sorry about that, Frank. I thought you were talking to somebody else in the chat, but I didn't realize you were responding to Faye. Sorry. Nobody's arguing, Faye. He was saying, amen. Amen, sister.
Amen. Mary said, God help us. I say that about 3,000 times a day, I think. What else? So, Eddie, do you want to go on with that, or do you want to talk about scripts the normies are already running about the upcoming election?
Oh my goodness. If Mary, you know what, you go right ahead, Faye.
Mary, it's my civic duty. It's my civic duty to vote. And Mary, it's the scripts. If I don't vote, then I can't complain.
Oh, and right. Tell them. Yeah.
No, it's just there's. I mean, what do you guys want? Like, just I'll get a sock puppet and say the same scripts that I've been hearing, and like you can't. If you don't vote, you can't complain. It's your duty to vote. You know, a lot of people died for your right to vote, Faye. Like, it's just like, but all of you people saying this thinks that and I won't say it. You think that the crazy Mr. Magoo, who they have up there now with dementia, didn't really win. So what is what? Oh, it's an insane asylum.
I'm having the bottleneck right now of which thing do I say next?
Right.
He's such a troll. I'm sorry. I used to, like, if you go back on our videos, well, on our last channel now, but I was like, you know, I feel bad for him. He should be, you know, at home watching movies with an Afghan on his lap. But now it's getting to the point where it's like, bro, I've seen people with dementia. I've seen them. You're totally hamming it up. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I have to not yell because it breaks my microphone. He's hamming it up, and it's to the point that it's like, first of all, it is an embarrassment to the Americans, or I should say the United States of America. But at the same time, it's like another thing where I'm starting to think, like, do they think we're stupid? Like, we're not catching.
You think
we're not catching on to this?
You think that they think we're stupid? Like, I think they think we're stupid. I think that a lot of people. Hey, like my husband and I almost joined the military after the September 7-Eleven part-time job event. I was brainwashed at one time, but it wasn't. The problem with the most recent PSYOP is that it was so painfully obvious from day one. And it's like, it is such a troll. But yeah, do they think we're stupid? Yeah, they most certainly do.
You know what? I think it makes me so angry because I fell for it for a while. You know, where I was like, this is so sick. Like, why give this man his dignity, you know? But now I'm just like, nah, bro. I've seen people with dementia. You're acting like you have, I don't know, not dementia. It looks like somebody trying to act like they're a lot worse
Yeah.
than they are.
It's over the top. Well, they're all actors, is what I've
Mm-hmm.
really there is. Everything on the screen is an act. It really is. It's you know, and even like thinking, I looked at even like talking about the Elvis stuff. It's still feeding me things, and that like it's all if it's on the screen, it can't be trusted. But to have these people run these same scripts, I remember they were so upset during the last one when it was can I say their names with it when I mean is it misinformation when I say that it was Trump versus Biden? Is that going to get me to start? So
No,
when
that's a fact, I hope.
that's a fact that it was Trump, and so my friends who were all like my friends, quote unquote, that's a iffy term these days, but they really wanted their guy Trump to win, which is so funny because we live in Massachusetts. And they're like, what do you think, Faye? Do you think he's going to? And it was like, well, I think it's going to go one of two ways. I go, either it's going to be a landslide and your guy's going to win, or the other dude's going to win. And it's going to be so obvious that he didn't win. They're going to just try to see what people will do. And it was B. It was. Mary's like, don't face, stop it. Not too obvious.
I have to refrain from all I want to say, but that's fine. Yes, I can see that. Yeah, I don't know. This whole, but don't you feel like the wheels are coming off the wagon? Now, maybe it's just the group of people I know, but I feel like the wheels are kind of coming off the wagon with the whole left right thing. And we live in a pretty liberal area. The only things I've seen so far is a couple of like Trump 2024 signs. That's all I've seen. I don't, and do they, maybe it's just because they haven't picked a nominee for the next election. I don't know.
I
Wishful
don't know
thinking, I'm
either.
sure.
I have no idea, but all I know is that they just need to stop being sock puppets. Say, the big line that I love is like, Faye, well, you can't complain if you don't vote. I'm like, did anyone vote for Anthony Fauci? Did anyone vote for Bill Gates? What the hell are you people talking about? They're telling you, did anyone vote for Elon Musk? All these like people that
Oh,
are telling you where your life's going. Give me a break.
right.
Showing you. Did anyone vote for the people at the World Economic Forum? Like, come on. They want you to know. They want you to wake up. I don't know what they're going to do. Like, okay, so everybody wakes up. Then what? I don't know. And then we all fight amongst each other because, like you said, Mary, even the truthers can't get along.
I know. Yeah, but that's so important that the people that are literally running this country, um, they weren't elected. And then you have these people that went along with everything that these unelected people said and took it as, the scripture or whatever the truth. Then they're like, you have to go vote, rock the vote. Like Mike was just saying, since the commercial where Lincoln was wrestling for his right to vote. And then when we grew up in the 90s, it was all about rock the vote. I don't know if that's still a thing. Nickelodeon. I remember a few years ago when we still had cable TV, my kids watching something on Nickelodeon. I think SpongeBob was on Nickelodeon, but they were like to little kids during SpongeBob talking about like your right to vote, and they would have these like little like buffer like skits in between commercials, and it would be about voting and how important voting is. It's like, why are you telling this to little kids? So they love it.
I
They
was
love it.
pretty, I was pretty blue pilled back in the day. I couldn't wait to turn 18 and register to vote. It was immediately what I did. I thought my vote was so important. But now I wouldn't waste the gas to go to the place. And then when they ever had all the sheeple voting with the thing on their face, my dear friend, and I love her, but I was like, she was yelling at me and she was texting me over and over and over again. Faye, you need to. I know he's the lesser of two evils, but you have to vote for him. And I said, you think I would ever vote with that on my face? Don't you see? It's like it's never gonna no. So it's fun. It's
Yeah.
but you know what? But then, these people are like amazing. Once in a while, they'll have like a pearl of wisdom that I never thought of. And then the compassion, it's like, I'm not better than them, I don't
Sure.
know. I don't know. It's just,
You're not better than them. I think you just have bigger balls, not to be vulgar, and you're willing to like stand up and be like, no, forget this or
this
whatever.
is one thing I know about myself after the last 2.5 years, and I'm thankful for this. Is I have integrity, and if I say I'm going to do something, and if I say I'm against something, I mean it. I mean it. And unless there's a gun to my head or my kids' heads, like if I say I'm not doing it and I'm against it, I really mean it. And I'll do whatever it takes not to do it. And I'm kind of proud of myself, like looking back, the kids are doing great in school. Thank God. I can tell they're happy to be back with their friends and, but like, again, if the second there's a problem, out.
Sure. Right.
Who's funny?
I voted for Reagan in kindergarten. So in Carter won. Didn't Reagan even win in Massachusetts? I think Reagan
did. I remember because I was still I remember someone called me and they wanted someone called me and they wanted me to like vote for Mitt Romney or something.
Oh.
And where did he go? No, what did they want? They called me in Massachusetts, but they were like trying to get me to go to New Hampshire or something. And I was like, well, what? I forget what it was. I think I was still voting or something, or I was just like I was supporting Ron Paul.
Oh.
And, they were like, well, unfortunately, Massachusetts is a lost cause. And I was like, what are you talking about? Reagan won Massachusetts. You people, and Ron Paul was it. That's, again, I always say.
Can I just say also with Ron Paul, what we dealt with as far as we were coming kind of off the whole rhino bandwagon at that point. It was a very, very rude awakening, another, step in our journey that we've taken together, Faye. But with people that we were friends with in Massachusetts that happened to be Republicans at that time, getting angry with us and saying it was our fault because we were taking votes away from, it may have been Romney at that point. We were taking points away from him. And what?
100%.
Yes, I remember being at my husband's mother's house, so my mother-in-law's house, and so my brother-in-law was there, and he was saying that to me, and I remember just like kind of looking at my husband, like, get me out of here, and my husband was just like, whatever. What does it make?
You know what? Ron Paul was the last politician I was invested in. I met him in person. I used to be on Facebook, and that was my profile picture of me with Ron Paul. He was very, very, very nice, and I really, really liked meeting him. And I was invested, and I just said I thanked him for like what he had to say, and he like shook my hand. He was a really, really nice guy. Really, 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 really liked him. Like, you just get a sense from people. Like, he was just warm. Like, I wanted to hug him like a grandfather. Like, he was warm and friendly. Last politician I was ever invested in. But I'll tell you something, Mary. I do not miss political arguments. It is so great when they start like doing their like, Faye, you got to do this, you got to do this, and it's your civic duty. And so my new line was like, my newest line is, I'm not participating in that humiliation ritual. Because that's all it is. It's
so incredibly divisive. It's ridiculous. But
to vote is to consent to this evil system. It's none of them are there. It's all okay. I'm not going to get into it, but that's my two lines are: I'm not participating in this humiliation ritual. My second is to vote is to consent to this evil, evil, evil system. Period. Go ahead. Now I want to find the picture of Ron Paul and me. You're frozy. Are you okay?
Am I
Are you okay?
frozen or am I just seriously not moving?
Are you
I'm really, guys, when I go into self-protective mode, literally, I think that I could hide from a lion that was very hungry. I could be so still. But yeah, it is tough. I do feel like there are political issues that matter, like going to school board meetings and standing up for our personal liberties and our civil liberties. But the days of me fighting tooth and nail to back a I don't know, nominee or even, somebody who's running for president, those days are so long gone.
over, and I don't miss them. But that's why when I look at these like quote unquote zombies brainwashed, it's like I just have to remember that I mean, again, my husband and I almost joined the military after the part-time job on 7-Eleven. We were this close. They were,
Yeah, I
they
mean,
were they were salivating. They wanted Joe so bad, but like I was in my head, I was like, they're not. I don't really know where I'm gonna end up in this. So I'm like, no.
oh God, ceremonies and rituals.
Ooh,
I
Frank, that
mean,
was going cast your vote. That you took
yeah,
that off. Yeah, it's all ceremonies and rituals, and they need us to they need us to consent to it. It's part of the ritual. Because by casting your vote, you're agreeing to their schemes and their evil.
they
In my
cast their nets too. I don't know. Let us not argue, spouse. I mean, don't come over here arguing. But I mean, he's right. I mean, it is in scripture where they oh, do I have fleas or something? Why? Do I keep like guys, I'm all kinds of needing to like self-soothe and I'm very insecure. This is a lot for me being, on camera. So anyway,
You have
next
nothing to be
topic.
insecure about. What?
I said next topic.
Next topic. Okay, so political scripts are starting to be run. Oh, and I just realized they're just getting started. Like this is only for like the November. I don't even know who's running or what. And this is only it's like what did you guys say? Congress or something? Okay, animals acting crazy. What else, Mary?
What about the fact that I don't know. How do you feel about I know you don't like to talk about it, but guys, I really feel like it's really important for us to somewhat pay attention to what's going on in the world. What?
Food shortages. I
Am I
love
that
it.
predictable? Whatever. Your sister was very impressed with what I have going on here. Um,
I'm very impressed. I
I'm
am.
telling you, things are getting so insanely like crazy. And over in Europe, they're already rationing. And as soon as Europe starts panic buying, it's going to come to the US very quickly. And we saw what happened in 2020 with toilet paper. And I know I have to say this every freaking time, every Friday. This is my little rant because I want everybody to be prepared, but it's getting bad. The war drums are getting closer and closer. I don't know what it's about. I don't know if it's a setup, if it's a distraction or what, but guess what? It smells very real to me. And the fact that Russia, China, and India, who have the largest militaries in the world, would be against like the NATO, we'd get our asses kicked. United States, as far as military personnel, I think is like 5 or 6 in the world. The next NATO country on the list is like number 21. It's like France or the UK, and then France or the UK is like 24. It could get really, really, really bad, and we have to, just keep an eye on it.
I just
Just do me that favor, guys.
I love you so much and your family. You come by. I get it. Okay. I don't have the same fear. And maybe I'm delusional. Maybe it's because I've never gone hungry a day in my life. I'm disgusting. Yesterday and on my off day, I'm going to admit something. Let's true confession time. This is so bad. I had McDonald's for lunch and then I had a BLT sub for dinner. So it's like food is not a problem. It's like for me right now, and it never has been. So that's where I'm coming from. You have a very large family, Mary, and they're playing mind games. So I
Well, that's
know
what.
when you say it's going to get bad, for me, it's been bad. It was bad before 2020, okay? Before March 2020, I was like, "Oh my god, my kids, I would get worried about everything." But the psychological war we've been under, like it's going to get bad. Like I have a headache most days because of what I'm seeing. It's like it's made me develop headaches. Food, I mean, Mary, I would agree with the creator if I could make a deal. I told you this. If I could just like have all the kids be healthy, have truth, have fairness, like genuine, like a beautiful society, you know, like if I could have heaven for the kids, I would never eat again. I don't care about food.
But listen, okay, that's all well and good, but when you don't have it, you don't understand. And
Exactly. And that's why I
listen,
said
I will say,
I've never gone a day without it. And
you
I admit that. Go ahead.
like you always kind of, not always, but my history with food insecurity. And when we were living over in Ireland, we were very much dependent on my father's pension check coming in. And there were times where literally we had no food. We had to go out and forage and make a meal out of what we could find.
I
So that
didn't know
having been
that. We're
said,
first cousins. I didn't know that. That I like you learn something new every day. Like I
yes.
never knew that.
So yeah, with that whole thing, perhaps you're right, but I also feel like we're living very differently than any other previous generation. And with our food on demand and what is it called? Like the on demand supply chain and all this stuff, these things are coming apart. And we're fighting with China. We can't get parts that we need for even like, I know that you guys don't really, or some of you over in chat don't really believe in like the technology of like aircrafts and things like that. But I heard that Lockheed Martin can't even get a part for the Raptor, the F-35, I want to say. So anyway, I'm ranting. So just forget it. I just really, I mean, yes, we will all be birds of the air and be completely dependent on God. If what I think is coming happens, but it doesn't hurt to have a bag of freaking rice on hand just in case. So there's that. Thank you for letting me say it
No,
again.
you know what? You're a mom, and you know what? You're definitely not the only person saying it, Mary. So you're absolutely not the only person saying it. For me, it's the psychological war. It's for me, it's the I'm just praying to stay sane. I've been doing online classes, and I'm doing a lot of psychology classes, and I don't really necessarily agree with everything. And I'm doing a lot of classes. I have them lined up. I'm doing one at a time, but I just figured since everyone's crazy, I mean, including myself, I might as well just learn about psychology. For me,
Um,
it's like it's I don't know. I just I've never. Oh,
we're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to do that every time we see her. We have to just treat her like everybody else.
you know, you're like, oh, there's just nobody. Yeah.
So anyway, I agree with that. And then so Frank says he also has had experience with no food. It does leave an impact on you
Yeah.
You know,
You know,
it really does.
and I
No, go
apologize.
ahead.
And that's very, and I admitted that I'm insensitive. I'm insensitive. I've never known that. And I'm sorry, you know, and you know what? God, there's a big chance that anything's, God could be very humbled, you know?
Snowy is based. She's so based. Hold on. Let's see. So
Francis.
yes, Francis. So we treat Francis the same way we treat Snowy every time. We're like, yay! I feel like we're like that with everybody. Whatever. We're excited to see you all.
Francis, you coming up next week? I hope so. October 1st. Meet up at
Okay,
my
they
house.
get her. Okay, for new builds, stupid stuff like refrigerator parts. Oh, they can't get. I'm sorry. Guys, I don't know where my reading glasses are. I also lost my driving glasses, so, you know. But anyway, so yes, I have heard that even like RV companies, so everybody who's like a prepper and they're planning on bugging out, you can't even get RV parts. So now, like, even the prepper community, their backs are up against the wall and they're like, well, what are we supposed to do now? And I'm convinced that, I don't know, I feel like going up against China might be really, really bad for us
Yeah.
because we don't manufacture anything anymore. Well, hardly anything. What do they say? That we're a service economy, whatever the hell that means. But,
We
you
gotta
know,
we have to pray the Holy Spirit. I always go back to this, okay? When I look at the screen tells me that there's a huge problem with racism in this country. Like everyone's just racist, and the black people are so oppressed. And I live in a very diverse city, and when I go outside, I don't see it anywhere. Like, and I see, you know, I've never ever seen it in real life.
seen what?
Racism. It like with I've never seen hatred between people of different skin colors where I live.
I've literally seen racism before.
Well,
So, yeah. So, I mean, that's just, again, my experience. But I was watching, back to TV. Last night, I wanted to give Cobra Kai a break because I haven't been caught up yet. So I'm on season 3. And I turned on Netflix, the Jeffrey Dahmer movie. And I did have to skip bits because there was like a lot of gay, you know, I'm not interested in seeing dudes go at it. So I did skip bits on that, but towards the end, after he got arrested, they started down the whole like racism aspect, and Reverend Jackson comes in and stuff like that. And at first, I was like, of course, they're going to go down this road. You know, it's Netflix. But I kept watching it. I was like, yeah, wait a second. They have like actually people that lived in the building that he lived in, Jeffrey Dahmer, calling the police, and you could, you know, they're brown and black people, and the police are completely ignoring them. And there was this one woman who was calling. She's like, what happened to that baby? What happened to that baby? Talking about the young 14-year-old that Jeffrey Dahmer like drilled a hole in his head and he was trying to make him a zombie. What?
I just want to jump in right here.
Sure.
I do believe in systematic racism. I do believe that there's been a war on the black man over like having marijuana, but I'm talking about when I go out my door, there is no hatred between me and anyone of any different color. That's the truth I've lived my entire life. But systematic racism, I absolutely believe in. Go ahead.
Right. So, and also this was back at first I was like, wait a second, he doesn't know about Jeffrey Dahmer, but he was, turns out he got caught. But yeah, so that, like, watching that at first I was like, oh, they're totally going to play this up as part of the agenda. But then I took a step back and I was like, this is really messed up. And like, it's this clean cut Milwaukeean white dude. And every time he was brought to the police's attention, it was like, I don't know, he's just a big nerd, whatever, he's fine. And there did seem to be something up. So
I can't watch that stuff, so I'll take your word for it. I just before I took the red pill, I used to live in constant fear. Let's see what I was afraid of before I took the red pill, because the red pill does make you escape. Like once you take the red pill, you're just like, well, you know, I'm more afraid of Satan and his minions than anything else.
right.
Before the red pill, I was afraid of like kidnappers, and I was afraid of serial killers, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Jeffrey Dahmer may be a real one. He may be. I'm not positive yet. I haven't researched him enough. Like, we know that like Gacy and probably Bundy, they were in on some sort of weird occult ritual
Mhm.
type crap. But Dahmer may have just been a weirdo. Weirdos happen. So anyway, enough
Weirdos
about
do happen.
yeah,
Weirdos
enough
do
about the
happen,
serial
but
killer.
you know what I go back to? Speaking of serial killers, the first serial killer was what was his name?
Ed Gein, or in the U.S.
Yeah, I'm terrified of centipedes. Thank you, Joe.
I
That
am
shows me
too.
what to say. Centipedes. Like I don't know. Like, did Satan create some creatures? I don't get centipedes. They're terrifying. The first serial killer was he's at the tip of my tongue. It was at the World's Fair. Back to the good old World's Fair, and I've listened to a deep dive on him, and the newspapers reported it as like, oh, he's America's first serial killer. And so the guy was saying, it's like, why would the newspapers say first serial killer? Did they know that this was going to be a thing? And apparently they did. It's at the tip of my tongue, but
No, you're driving me insane. It was an American serial killer or the English, not
Papa
Jack the
World's
Ripper.
Fair. They made
Oh,
him
who's the one that had that the prison hotel, right?
supposedly, allegedly.
Yeah,
The truth,
yeah, yeah. Oh, what
the
was
truth
his
be
name? I
told is
forget too.
the person that was doing the deep dive said that he didn't really kill anybody. That basically at court he was accused of killing, I think, one person, and they couldn't even prove that. And the big thing, and I know you'll love this. Go get your hat, Mary. He's related to Meghan Markle. So yeah,
I did sit
that's a
through
tip of my
6 hours,
toes.
6 hours on Monday. No apologies, guys. How do you think all these people that know what's up know what's
No,
up? They're
the
sitting through
funniest
this
part
crap.
was no. So listen, so she watches. I'm on the phone with her, and I'm like, "Oh, I found this really good new YouTuber, and I'm loving her." And I'm like, she's a little light. She's kind of light. She does celebrity stuff. It's kind of like what I need right now. She's actually, I forget her name, but she's I think she's married to Jay Dye or something. She's cute. She's cute, and she's really, really smart. And so this one, Mary goes to me. What the hell? The world's falling to hell. You think I have time for Britney Spears? And I go, wait, you just told me you watched the royal stupid funeral for 3 hours. Yeah, you looking well.
Jamie Henshaw
Yeah, I like
is
her.
the YouTuber. Yeah,
Very,
she's
very
I mean entertaining, but this week I've been on edge. So I had no time for Britney Spears, but I had 6 hours for the Queen's funeral. So that makes sense, right?
totally.
Freaking hypocrite. Whatever. We all have a little hypocrisy in us.
You think? I know I do.
Oh my gosh, George Washington.
George Washington.
He was trying to name different serial killers. I remember the Dahmer prison interview where his parents showed up in didn't feel right. Don't remember the details. Hmm. I don't. I don't know which one you're talking about, but I know his dad was a weirdo. Definitely a weirdo. It was funny because last night I was on Discord with a bunch of 20-something-year-olds and one younger female. She was in her 20s. And they were going down the porn rabbit hole, or prawn, I guess we should say, rabbit hole, and talking about, how it perverts and it really messes with your head. And somebody did say, have you ever seen the Ted Bundy interview where he talks about how dangerous prawn is? And then I typed back and I said, yeah, but Jeffrey Dahmer's father thought he was normal because he found some, prawn magazines in his house. So catch 22, is it normal? So.
Well, according to the powers that should not be, it's completely normal, and it goes
Right.
back to is Pompeii real or not? But in Pompeii, it was on the living room walls. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but
It
those were crappy
makes me,
drawings.
it makes me incredibly uncomfortable. That's just my gut.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot about Pompeii that seems very sus. I agree
Totally
with you on that. Like the what was it? What do they call it? The cat house. What are they?
brothel.
Yeah, the brothel. Thank you. And they found the two like 14-year-old girls in it, and they
Well,
did 12. That's right. Yeah. And then they did testing, and they're like, oh, they had like syphilis and blah blah blah, naming all this crap that they supposedly had. It's like, yeah, that seems like part of the agenda
it
of
doesn't.
normalizing filth. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. It goes back. There's one thing that is very clear to me. Whether Pompeii was real and whatever is going on with prawn, as you call it, they're they're into they are it is a real it's gross. And I told you, look, about TV. Joe and I were watching something. Can I tell this story really quick? You just can't watch anything without it getting inappropriate, and that's like putting it mildly. So Joe and I were watching and it's so nice like to just have a show that he and I are kind of enjoying, and we can kind of like turn off, kind of relax at night, you know. We were and do I even need to say the name of the show? I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
Mm-mm.
Besides,
Just go
besides
ahead.
Sandman on Netflix, and I was really liking it, and I think it was like the third one in, and I was really liking it. Like, oh, Joe, you know, let's after dinner, let's watch our show. And so we're watching. Thank you, honey. We were watching one episode, and I'm just so in tune to like where these characters are going now. And so our house is kind of small. We have a living room and then our dining room. And my son was working on his homework. He's such a good boy. So my son's working on his homework within earshot while we're watching the show. Now, granted, Mary, I'm already desensitized to the swears, to the filth. Like, it's 2022, so there's so much that like I'm listening to that like 20 years ago, like I wouldn't have been able to handle, never mind with my kid doing his homework next to me, and that's
Right.
embarrassing. But I know where these characters are going. And so I go, and so the characters, I knew what they were going to take it to the what's the word we can use? The pego level,
Sure.
the mystery island, little, you
Sure.
know, disgusting, like the unwhole. It's so I go, Joe, mute it, mute it, mute it, mute it, mute it, because I didn't even want it, but Joe didn't hit the mute button fast enough, and I was right. And then when the guy started talking, I just screamed because I didn't want my son to hear it. I was like,
Yeah.
so my son didn't hear what the actor said, and it's like, God, actors, I know you're actors, but like, do you want to be famous that bad? Like, if I read a script, I'd be like, no, I'm not reading this. So anyway, I'm really enjoying the show. Thankfully, I screamed at the appropriate moment, so my 16-year-old son didn't hear what was said. But it's like, they are into it. Whether back to Pompeii, whether Pompeii is real or not, whether Pompeii is real or not, someone's thinking about this. They're weirdos, and why are these weirdos in charge? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, Faye, you going to parties and getting really pissed off about that game Cards Against Humanity. Not that you were uptight, but it always seemed like somehow a pego, um,
That's
story.
we'll call it Pego. It's a Pego game. Like, I'm sorry, that game, I flipped out, and I would like, people would be like, oh, it's hilarious, Faye, and I'd be like, oh, really? You think sex with Girl Scouts is funny? Because that's one of the cards, you sicko. And they'd be like, they look around, they'd be like, no, because everyone cares what everyone thinks. I don't like it. It's just, I want the stolen innocence of children, Mary. We talk about it all the time. But let me tell you, there is a little bit of a baby boom, and these kids are so cute. So, but I don't want anyone to steal their innocence. Like, if these psychopaths had their way, it would be Pompeii, whether it's real or not. If these psychos had their way, it would be Pompeii all day, every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We were talking about that a little bit earlier in the week. I don't know, Frank. I didn't know Frank would join me in a smoke, because you know what, I even though I don't want you guys to see me lighted, I am kind of over it. It's like, instead of me always shutting off my camera because I have one cigarette and I keep sniping it. So, sorry. I just want to explain how I
I'm, I'm very, I'm fortunate. There's a gene that we have in our family. Mary didn't get it apparently, but some of us, I can smoke 1, 2, 3 cigarette. I mean, unless I'm like really like partying, then it's like just give me more. Like I can do like half a pack, but I don't party all the time. But I can usually have 1 cigarette a night, and that's good, you know. But believe me, if I craved it, Mary, right now, I would be smoking away. I could care less. You do you.
But the corruption of youth that we were talking about, and we know in scripture, let nobody harm one of these, or it'd be better for them that a millstone be put around their neck and them cast into the ocean. But there are other, they're called private revelations. And it's the type of thing that you have to take with a grain of salt. You can't like just believe these private revelations, but it's kind of like, I don't know, take it with a grain of salt. But there are several, and I, for some reason, really like looking into these types of things. I was even looking at like private revelations of the Russian Orthodox Church and what they say, because I'm just curious, what's everybody saying is going to happen next? And you know what? You can't crap talk me because everybody loves to see Nostradamus and how he was right and stuff. But there is private revelations that talk about the loss of innocence in children and how it's going to be kind of the beginning of the end. And it's going to be one of the things that you have to watch before the Antichrist comes on the scene. And there's no doubt in my mind. I've already told the story about my kids at the playground, and there was 2 little boys, 10 years old, talking filthy to like each other and laughing and like crap that like my daughter knows because her mother sometimes has a filthy mouth, but only sometimes. She knows what these words mean, unfortunately, because of me. But she's hearing 10-year-old little kids saying it in front of her 7-year-old brother, her 5-year-old sister, and her 4-year-old brother. So at some point, my 16-year-old daughter turns to these little kids and she's like, "You're not funny. Cool it. You think that makes you look cool?" And then she notices that the mother is sitting right there. And my daughter turns to the mother and she's like, turns back to the kids and says, "Can you please stop talking like that? There's children here." Loud enough for the mother to hear. It's like, I'm sorry, that is a loss of innocence right there,
Well, there's a loss of innocence, all right. You're not the only one with Austin had a story. Awesome had a story like that. His little boy his little boy, I think is going on 6, had a similar story that he was like, "Dad, what's up with these kids?" I told you that Lena can't believe the way the kids are acting. This is no joke. Why do you think I was so upset when parents did this to their kids? Like, it's spiritual, mental, and physical abuse, and there's no turning back from it. Okay? You're all liars. You're teaching your kids it's okay to lie. And it's not even just about the sex stuff. Okay? That's part of it. But
I think we can say sex. I think YouTube is okay with that.
Yeah, I bet they are.
Yep.
The main the sex part is like it's definitely in the top 3, but the biggest problem is that these kids are being raised by liars. All they do is lie, and the kids learn to lie, and it's absolutely disgusting. And my heart goes out to them, and it's like I've said it before, these kids are going, if we make it that far, they're going to euthanize us for a $10 stimulus check, and I'm gonna slow clap for the way.
I don't think that their parents are just liars. I think seriously, the parents aren't parenting their children. They don't have the time. They don't have the energy. I even wonder with a lot of the systems that are in place in, modern, USA and elsewhere, if these parents even have bonded with their children in infancy and things like that. There's a lot that goes into this whole feeling no need to protect your child. They just are like, oh, it's fine, it'll be fine, like somebody else is going to take care of it. That's your child. So they just don't care. How's that? They don't care.
We really, I could literally, if I sat and thought about it, I could cry for the rest of my life. And I'm not kidding, from what's going on with children. But then, we're talking about tonight, but then I go out and I see these beautiful children with glowing skin and bright eyes, and I have faith. And I know, again, I'm not a part of any organized religion, especially in 2022. Like, I can't even with these organized religions. I'm sorry, Mary, and anyone else, but I'm sorry. These priests and pastors have no discernment. Okay, that's the real problem. What can you imagine if all of these priests and pastors were just like, we're not closing. Are you crazy? We're not telling our friends. They are numero uno at fault. My finger goes to you. You know that. But anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. They
Seeing
are
the babies. The cute. I almost drove off the road because I was trying. My daughter was with me, but I'm like rubbernecking, trying to see the baby in the stroller as I'm driving down the street.
I always walk by them and they're so cute. Oh my god.
My daughter was like, chill out. Can you please just keep your eye on the road?
This is what God does. Like, God, he's when things are getting so dark, it's like the good he makes like shine so much brighter. And like today
Absolutely.
I was going to pick up like a rug or something, and just in the store, like every baby I see is just like bright-eyed and glowing, and it's like, God, but like, why would you let this beautiful soul come here now? like
Warriors. That's how we have to start looking at those little babies. That's a future warrior right there.
They are warriors. And if this thing keeps going, we are going to outnumber these people eventually. This is the only way it's going to be. I mean, it just was. Your sister, it was funny. She showed and your sister's like, I don't really like Bill Maher, Faye, but she showed me like Bill Maher did the statistics.
Oh yeah,
like people. She's like, back in, I forget what it was, but it's going up and up, and now it's like almost 50% people identify as gay. Gay people don't really procreate, so they're gonna go extinct. So
that was hilarious. And then he was like, and then by 2050, and it shows the whole graph is gay. And then he goes, but who's going to buy this? And they show an easy chair. I will say, even though Bill Maher is a complete DB, that was funny.
Yeah. If you didn't laugh, you cry. That's all there is. And much love to those out there putting out content that makes you laugh, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. It says, if it's all a deception, how can people be lying?
That's not how a lawyer talks.
I'm confused. If I hear a lot going on down there. So he's multitasking right now. I'm not sure if it is easy as saying they are all liars or stupid. It's a cop-out, like saying Hitler was insane. Wait, but Hitler was insane.
Hitler was a...
You know what? I will say this for Mike and I. Both of us we are not chat people, believe it or not, even though I'm on Discord all the time trying to get in there. But it's like the way we think, and I'm sure it would be the same way with you, Faye. We can't soundbite the way we think because it's always so much broader, And so I think he might be struggling.
You will never find me in an argument in a chat. If I do go in a chat, it's just to give some love, give the host a little shout out, and that's all.
It's tough though, because on Discord, there's a lot of young people over there. And you know what? To be honest, I learned a lot. These young men and women, what they are up against, talking about marriage and stuff like that. The way they talk about marriage, I'm like, no, marriage can be a blessing. But then they'll start talking about literally the world and how things are now. And it's almost like I feel stupid by being like, no, marriage can be a blessing, because these young people are up against it so much. So a lot of the conversations that I have are like not soundbite
That's why
conversations.
at your house last week, like everyone was getting a little conservative. I took it to a new level. Like I was just sitting there and all of a sudden everyone's like talking about like, yeah, we gotta do this. I go, we gotta go back to arranged marriages and girls can't go to college. No more debt for girls. And we have to have babies. And then I was like, this is like why I'm not in charge. I'm like, I'm talking
Whatever.
like arranged marriages. I'm talking like girls married at 17. If you're gonna have a family, don't go to college. Like, what's the point? But I'm
I don't know. I feel like
I'm taking it back to like the 1800s with that.
that's pre-18
Like,
arranged marriage.
what?
I feel like
What?
that's way back that they had arranged marriages. But I don't know. I feel like
I want to pick Lena's husband. I want to. I'm sorry. Can I ask you a question? I'm sorry, you had something to say, but I want your opinion on something.
Yeah, sure.
In the chats. So as my son's going to be 17 next week, a week from today, guys, my son's going to be 17. I can't believe it. Like I literally can smell him when they put his 10-pound body in my arms. Like why? How did this happen? But anyway, he's a good kid. But as he's getting older, you know, I know that Dorian wants to get married. He's been like, he was winking at the nurses the day he came out. He likes ladies. So he wants to get married someday. This is my question. How do we feel about our children marrying and procreating with those who disturbed their blood with the current mandate? I mean, there's nothing I can do about it if he falls in love with someone that got it. But like, has it really affected their biology? I want opinions. What do you think, Mary?
All right. So my son does have some young male friends who are all girl crazy. They're all about like the babes. Like you saw when he came in and he was talking to the 23-year-old guy who was there. And he's like, oh, zero babes. When you said you have a girlfriend. He's all about the babes. So anyway, and my son has zero babes also, by the way. But
so I just want to say for the record, Mary, sorry, I want you to answer the question about how we feel about this as our children get partners. By the time your oldest son came in, I felt that I had been gushing about how handsome everyone was. That by the time he came in, I was like, zip it. You're being a weirdo. But
they're all beautiful, thank God.
They're so like everyone that came in, I'm like, oh, look at these handsome young men. But then your son came in and I was like, you gotta shut up. You're like, but don't think he wasn't married. Don't think he wasn't noticed. But go ahead.
So these young men, especially anti, they don't want, that's one of their vetting questions is what I'm noticing. And
Dorian's too. That's what Dorian's saying. Okay.
Yeah. So I've heard him say like, oh yeah, she's cute, but she's all jabbed up. So that means yeah. So and he has a couple of friends that are like that. One just went to college, and the one who just went to college really liked my daughter. And one of the things that he said to her is, I love that you're not all jabbed up, So
I think that in the future, it's going to be a real currency or flex to be like, you know what I mean? These kids are going to have to find each other. I think it is. I'm glad I asked you because it's been on my mind. I think it's a really big deal. Like I've asked my oldest, I'm like, so any crushes, like any girls? And the first thing he always says is it's fun, like married, because like we're in long-term marriages here, but like these kids, wow, I'm proud of them. Like, I don't know if it's, but I'm wondering if it is that big a deal, like, because God's bigger than
I know.
But like, it's amazing that I'm hearing that. I'm wondering if the chat's hearing that with the younger people that are like kind of in the dating scene that, nope, if they have that, they're out.
Right. And I will say my husband, my son is very open with me. And anybody he has a crush on, Faye, no matter who it is, you're going to be like, really? Her? So when he does,
I won't
eventually come to you and is like, yeah, I do. I like her. You're going to be like, wait, she's
not
mousy.
me. I won't be like
She
that, okay? Because I'm smart. I'm smart. You have a
was
daughter.
mousy. I'm telling
You
you.
have a daughter the rest of your life. You have your son until he gets a wife. And I know this. Okay? So I've been praying for my son's spouse since he was in my belly. If that woman hates me, then I'm out. I'll be lucky if I see my kid 3 times a year. So she's going to be my daughter, and I'm going to accept her for who she is. I'm going to do my best. I'm not. Look at you. Look at that's your baby. I know that's your baby.
I know, and it stinks because I do know what it's like when nobody's good enough for your son. It's like, guess what? Your son's not that great, but
Yeah, that's what my I won't get into it, but yeah, someone said that about me, said that I was materialistic. Now, meanwhile, I'm the one that has duct tape on her car that is like they're like trying to give me their electronics with all the bells and whistles, and I'm like, nope, I just want my one that doesn't do anything. So it's okay. And but I'm gonna try to remember that because I'm gonna have opinions about who Dorian chooses, and I could be wrong. It's in God's hands. But Mary, you can't be against his wife. If you're against his wife, like that's it. Like you have, unless she's like, I mean, I don't know. Our boys are getting older. 17 next week. I can't believe it.
my son's going to be 18 in January. But I will say that our husbands are over here making a new dating app for the unjacked.
Ching, I love it. It's a big deal. I'm glad I brought it up. It's a really big deal for those of us that didn't partake in the
Right.
experiment.
Right.
I love it. Mike, Joe, do it, please. What else, Mary? Mary,
I know, like this whole time, my house, seriously, I don't know what Mike is. He's like playing with them or something, and downstairs is like, like all I hear is the kids running everywhere, but in a fun way, not in a scary way, I hope. What else? I don't know what else is going on. Yeah, I got nothing. I just feel like we're sitting on a pressure cooker, so just keep your eyes and ears open, and that's my advice.
I don't know. I think maybe I I can admit I can be, like I said, I'm if people start clapping, I start clapping, and I have like fallen into the sway of being lulled back into sleep, and then I see one of these I saw one today with a double one on.
Oh, come on. No, you didn't.
Mary, I swear to you. And it's like, because it's like the universe is trolling me because I'm being lulled, just got my nails done. I discovered chrome nail polish. I'm like, how did I not know? Oh yeah, chrome nail polish. Yeah.
Brandon loves him some chrome, but
Yes, he does. Did you find out about your tickets, by the way?
No, I forgot to ask Mike. He said maybe. Actually, no, I did. Weren't you there? I was like, do I have tickets? He was like, yeah, maybe. We bought them in like 2019. So
anyway,
if I have 3 tickets, hopefully, so the third person's going to have to flip a coin to see who goes, whether it'll be Lena or
we'll fight for it. And I've got some karate background. Just anyway, I know what you're saying, and like you'd have to be like you have to like have blinders on not to feel the pressure cooker, but I'm very easily lulled back into it. But I feel like today, especially, I was very lulled back into it. I went to got my nails done. I went to the fabric store, got some double-sided tape, and then I went to the store, and it's like, but God made sure that I saw the batshit crazy woman with the double still on. He's like, no. God's like, no. It's Faye, don't get lulled. This isn't your old world.
Yeah, I will say before we go, that So anyway, back to the whole like grocery store, food supply, all this crap. Just one more thing. It's a huge observation. And my daughter said to me, she was like, Mama, every week you talk about the grocery store. I was like, at this point, it's tradition. All right. So
Yeah.
just lay off, girl. But they did redo Stop and Shop near me. And Stop and Shop is like kind of like Giant. I think it's part of the same chain as Giant grocery stores. And so they redid the entire thing. And I can tell you that the shelves aren't as deep. They're there's probably took at least four, maybe it's even 6 feet, 6 feet off the shelf. So now they're more shallow. They're further back in the grocery store, making the checkout area much bigger. And the areas are smaller for important things like pasta sauce, tomato sauce, all those other things. Whereas they made other areas, oh, meat, hold on, canned meat like spam, even though gag, um, corned beef hash in cans. That area is tiny, but there's so much filler on like pickles and things like that.
So we our Stop and Shop wasn't redone, but our Market Basket was up here, and
Yeah.
our Market Basket up here is like the cheap store. And
Mhm.
honestly, their renovation has been so amazing that I'm going
They're
to go
renovating too. No, this is sus. So Shaw's
just
is
one store,
renovating.
just one store
Well,
renovated.
still, it's not
Yeah,
just one store because it's Shaw's,
no,
it's Stop and Shop, and now Market Basket.
no. Only one. I'm saying only one Market Basket renovated because they added a liquor store.
Oh,
And so I haven't checked to see how deep the shells are. And I don't bring it up because because I know it's like a big issue for you, and but I can't really handle the abundance in this store. Every,
I there's
it's
still
overflowing. Go ahead. Okay.
I totally agree with you. I remember during like the peak of the lockdowns and everything, Mike would go to the grocery store and he would send me pictures. And that was like very apocalyptic because like the produce department, remember that the produce department would be like empty and that was like crazy. And then I would say to Mike when he would send me pictures, it's like, yeah, but look, there's still plenty of this. So it's like once you get in your mind that like there's still stuff to eat, we're not there yet. Um, it does help you to like stay balanced in the perspective of what you're seeing. But now that we're 2 years into the supply chain and being disrupted, and it's all on purpose, Faye, they need this. And in order to like go green, people are going to go hungry. So there's that. I'm losing my voice.
Well, in order to go green, people are going to go
Hungry. Yeah, because they're no longer doing like certain fertilizers, like chemical fertilizers. And even though we're like, great, those are carcinogenics, they're so toxic. Our world runs on this. We wouldn't have the population that we do have if it weren't for these fertilizers and stuff. And now everybody's shutting that down. And anyways, there's a lot to it. All I'm saying is just pay attention. That's all I want you to do. If you, you
I
know,
mean, how I want to pay attention, but like, it's like, what do you choose to look at every day? It's too much. I
yeah,
don't I try not to look at the screen, even so. I don't watch. One of the reasons I'm behind on Ray and Jen, the Truth Seeker, who I adore, it's because they're watching. You know what I mean? If you're a watching stream, then God, I'm probably way behind. I'm a listener. Okay, what do I choose to set my eyes on every day? Like it has to be my family and what's like right in front. I don't want to look at the screen. I don't want to look at it. Like right now I'm doing it with you right now, but I'm looking at my cousin who I
yeah.
know. I don't want to look at the screen. It's not my choice. So
Hmm.
I will pay attention, but when I go outside of my home, I see, again, with the bunnies everywhere. I see birds having a bird meeting of 100 birds in a rainstorm. I see
Right.
an ocean that, I know that if I go on the screen, Richie from Boston, who, I love Richie, I digress. I haven't heard him in a long time. I haven't watched or heard him in a long time. But I remember Richie, who lives a few towns down from me, would be like, "I'm at the ocean, guys, and it's all brown in the clan." And I'm like, "But I live down by the ocean. Everything's fine. If I just go to, if
Mm.
I don't listen to you on the screen, my ocean looks great." So I just don't. I know the screen is part of my life. I'm on it right now. I prefer to listen. I don't want to set my eyes on it. So pay attention. I will pay attention more at the grocery store. I will be looking to see if those shelves are a little bit lighter.
Yeah,
Um,
that's all I'm saying because
I love what you said last week, Mary, and
yeah.
it made my heart hum when I listened back to our stream again. I listened to our stream. I didn't watch it, but you go, Faye, are you ever going to let me be homeless? And I said, never. And that's
Mm.
what my heart really goes out to, are the lonely people. There's
I
people
know.
that don't, no, we got to thank God every day for the people that have our back. We're having our meetup on October 1st. You have to be vetted by Joe, Christian, or Ray. If you're vetted, then you are welcome to come over. We're going to have a good time. Joe and I will get the food, BYOB. But that's family. We have our family that's blood, but we also have to have our truther family too and get together. And
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm off.
No, that's good. That's good. I do have to talk to you though because we'll talk privately about like what day should I stay over at a hotel and all that kind of stuff. But we'll talk later. Wait, Mike is over here typing. I thought you were going to pick up our daughter. He's texting and driving. That's so irresponsible, Mike. But anyway.
He doesn't do it with his voice. I remember they did it with their voice, so I don't do it. I text like this. I'm like da 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 da.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Then all of a sudden they were like talking on their phones and like send this, send this. I go, so you guys don't have phone calls anymore, and you switch to texting, but now you talk into the text.
That's so true, Faye. Good call.
Oh,
Yeah, what the heck? Just pick up the freaking phone like we did back in the day. And a phone call takes like 2 seconds.
Seriously, I called you today because it was easier to call you than text you.
Right.
Seriously.
Anyway. All right. Final thoughts, Faye. Oh, you're hanging up? What?
Well, we're saying goodbye. No.
Final thought, I said, but
Final thoughts. Let's try to end positive. Final thoughts. You know what? We're all on different paths. We all have different opinions. Like Mary said, we could argue for days about doctrine and what they're gonna do and what's happening.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, guys, for whatever reason, the blindfold has been lifted to our little community, and I don't mean to sound like a hippie, but the only solution is love. It's like we have to just have love and compassion for each other, and I'm just having a good day, because there's some days where I'm like, I hate everybody.
No, I agree with that. I think community is so important, and we have been blessed, and thank you and Joe for, introducing me to the community, but that's all we have is the like-minded people, and it helps you stay a little bit grounded in, what's important, and
it does. I can't make it to Flattoberfest this year. And there's still a little chance I might fly down there. We don't know. But with my kids in school and stuff, I can't go. So we'll have a little mass Toberfest at our house, and it'll be really.
what time, Ray? I just Ray shared this a couple times, but the chat was moving. What time is that? I'm gonna check that out. So anyway, Faye, as always, wonderful talking to you.
I like our leopard.
MP Ultra.
Yep.
Whatever.
Glasses.
I know if I didn't lose mine, I would have put them on. But anyway, all right. We'll see you soon. All right. Oh, wait. So does that mean next Friday we're not going to do it?
It is Dorian's birthday, but Dorian doesn't really want like a big party. So there's a big chance I will do it. I'll probably be like hyping up the get together. But let me just shout it out because we have a very small, exclusive community here. Joe and I are having a meetup party at our house October 1st next week. You have to be vague. You have absolutely ceiling fan next 9 a.m. Joe will be there. I always listen later. 9 p.m. Don't listen to me. I love him, man. He's one of my faves. But anyway, so we're doing a little meetup here. Joe and I will get the food. It's anytime after 1. Hopefully we'll have a beautiful fall day. And we're gonna have a fire pit. But you have to be vetted by Joe, Christian, or Ray. That's if you're vetted by those 3, you can come.
All right. I hope Joe vets me because I only have your invite.
You've been vetted forever. You're not in that.
All right. Well,
apparently, you're not allowed to vet anyone. Because see, I'm a sexist. The men have.
I know exactly. Who would I bring anyway?
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.